We will be reconstituting and drawing medication from a single dose vial. The medication that we're using today is a vaccine called MMR. It comes in a powder and a diluent. The diluent is what we put into the powder vial, and we reconstitute, meaning we're making that powder a liquid. I have both of my vials. To take the tops off, you hold your thumb at the disc and just press up. I will clean my diluent first, because that's what I have to draw first. Then I'll clean my powder. You will also need two 35 gauge 5/8 inch needles. I will take my needle out of the package. I will pull down the safety device so it is not in my way. Make sure my needle is on there securely. I will take my cap off of my needle. Vials are a give and take. So if you want to get medication or a solution out of a vial, you have to give it something first. We are going to give it 0.5 ml of air from the syringe. So first of all, I will activate my plunger to make sure that it is working. And I will stop at 0.5 ml. I will one-handedly put the needle into the diluent and inject the air. I will then turn this over, and we want to make sure that we keep our needle below the solution, otherwise we will not get anything out. I want to remove all of the solution from the vial. Okay. I want to make sure that I get out the air bubbles, push any extra air out. And now I'm going to place that air into the MMR powder. I will place the syringe back into the cap without touching. Now to reconstitute, you can see it's already started to reconstitute, meaning it's already starting to turn to liquid. I want to make sure that I have all the powder off the sides, so I'm going to hold the vial at an angle, and I'm just going to rotate this in my hands to mix this properly so our medication, which is a vaccine, will be reconstituted properly. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time, and again, depending on what you're reconstituting, it may be a little hard tablet in the bottom. This happens to be a powder. There is still, if you can see, there's still powder along the sides, so I'm going to actually turn this over to make sure I have all the liquid accessing the powder. We do not shake the vial because we do not want to create any more air in the vial than there is from the medication we put in. There we go. And if you see here, it looks like we have everything reconstituted. Everything is a clear liquid at this time. So before I draw up my medication, I want to make sure, as you saw, I had to change the direction of the vial in my hands, and we're always retouching that top at the plunger. So I want to make sure that I clean the top of the vial again. I will then pick up my needle and make sure that the cap falls off without me touching that. I will then put my needle into my syringe, into my vial, and I want to withdraw all the medication that is in the vial. Okay. At this point in time, you might have seen the big air bubble here. I want to get rid of the air. So in doing so, if you angle the syringe towards you, what happens is when you tap the syringe, the air will go to where, the air bubble will go to where the air can expel. So I will tap, it goes up, and then I can turn my needle syringe back straight up. And if you can watch, you'll see that air bubble go out the syringe, okay? Now, because I have used this one needle and stuck 3 vials, I cannot use this on a patient because we want the needle that we use on the patient to be very sharp, which will create less pain. So we're going to activate the safety device, and I'm going to change my needle at this time. I will take this needle, twist it off the luer lock, and I'm going to drop it into the sharps container. I will just hold this syringe in my hand. I'm taking my extra needled syringe, and I'm just peeling it just like a banana. I'm going to take off the syringe and lay it to the side because I do not need that. And without touching the needle, I'm going to reattach, and it's ready to use. What I will do is, because I'm preparing other medications for my patient, I need to make sure that I write on the wrapper what it is that I'm giving. So I know when I'm ready to give that I've got that in there. If you're going to lay a syringe on its side while you're preparing additional things to the room, you always want to pull down a little to give an air bubble because there is a vacuum within, and if you leave it on its side, no air bubbles, it'll suck the medication out and we've lost a valuable part of our medication. I will set that to the side. Our vials are now empty. I'm going to save for my documentation purposes the vials, but once I'm completely done, I can dispose both vials in the sharps container.